Hey Education Boxer, welcome back to another video. In this video, we will be looking at lists and dictionaries in Python. So let's get started. So we can create a list by saying a is equal to square bracket 10, 5, and then minus 5 or something. And okay, so what we've done here is we've defined a list with the numbers 10, 5, and -5, and we've assigned it to the variable a. So if we print a, then it will print out our list. But then let's say you want to add something to the list. So then what you would have to do here is you would have to say a, which is the variable for the list, dot append, and then whatever you want to add. So let's say I wanted to add 20 to our list. Now it has been added. So if we print a now, it will have 20. And an interesting thing you can do is you can have two different types of things in one list. So what I mean by that is you can have an integer in the list and you can have a string. So we can actually do a dot append, and then we can add a bracket and quotation and say like hello. And now if we print a, it will have all of the numbers as well as the string hello. And then another interesting thing that we can do is we can have a list in a list. So if we do a dot append bracket and then square bracket 1 and 2, and so what we've done here is we've created a new list and we've appended it to our other list. So now if we print a, we will have all of our values in our string, and then we will also have our other list that we added with the numbers 1 and 2. Okay, so then let's say you want to remove something from the list. So then what you would have to do is you would have to write a dot pop and then double brackets here, and then that will just remove 1 and 2. So then if we print a, so we remove our second list, we will have 10, 5, -5, 20, and hello, and it would have removed our list of containing the numbers 1 and 2. And you can do this however many times you want. So if you do a dot pop, it will just remove the last item in the list. So now if we print a again, we will just have our numbers. So those are two common predefined functions with the list data type. However, there are many more functions that you can do with lists. However, let's say you want to retrieve something from the list. So then what you would have to do here is you would have to write a square bracket and then put 0. So let's say you wanted to retrieve 10, you would put a 0 and then it would get 10. And the reason why we start at 0 is because in most programming languages like Python, a list always starts with 0 and then continues. So let's say you want to find the second one, so you do a dash a square bracket 2, and that would give us -5. And then if you want to change something in the list, let's say I wanted to change this 10 to 100, I would just have to say a square bracket 0, so the index of 0, which is 10, and then set it to another number. So a square bracket 0, close square bracket, is equal to 100. And now if we have our list, if I just type in a, and then we will have 100 as our first value instead of 10. Okay, so now I'm going to give you guys a challenge problem to try and solve. So let's say I give you, so let's say I have a list. A is equal to, and then I'll have a string hello, and then I'll say apple, and then I'll say orange. So now what if I wanted you to swap the first index of the list with the final one? So basically, orange will be the first index of this list, and hello will be the last one. So I'm going to let you pause the video and do that. Okay, so now I will give out a solution to this problem. However, I will first address a common misconception that people have when they're trying to do this. So a common misconception that people have is that they type in a is equal to a0 is equal to a2, and then they write a2 is equal to a0. Now you might think, yes, we've just swapped these around. We've swapped both of them by saying 0 is 2 and 2 is 0. However, what we've done here, if we go through this, so let me just print a quickly, we have orange, apple, orange. So the reason why this is because, so let's think about this. So we have a0, which is hello, and then we set it to orange. So after this step, we have orange, apple, orange, and then we're setting a2, which is orange, to be a0, which is already orange. So that means we would still have orange, apple, orange, even after both of those steps. So a solution to this, if I just, I'll just set a 0 to be hello. hello again. So now if we have A, we have hello apple orange. So now to swap them around, one solution we could have is we could type in temp is equal to A2. So now we created a variable which stores the second index of this list, which is orange. So now what we can say is we can say A2 is equal to A0, and then A0 is equal to temp. Now if we print A, we can see that we have orange apple hello. So the reason why this works is so we have a variable called temp and we set it to orange. Now we say orange is equal to 0. So that means we right now have orange apple orange. But then we say that A0, which is orange, is equal to temp, which is A2, which is orange, which means that we have hello orange apple hello, which is the exact opposite. However, there is actually a quicker solution. So we could say that A square bracket 2, A square bracket 0 is equal to A square bracket 0, and then A square bracket 2. Now that does actually work. So if we print A, we should have hello as the first one and orange as the last one. So they will be swapped around again, and we do. Okay, so now let's move on to dictionaries. I'm just going to open a new Python shell here and just close the other one. So now let's move on to dictionary. So to create a new dictionary, we can just say D is equal to, and then 2 curly brackets, like this. And now what we've done is we've created a new dictionary and assigned it to the variable D. However, you could also say that D is equal to dict, and then two brackets, like this, and that would also create a dictionary. Now we can also have predetermined keys and values in the actual dictionary. So let's say I have a dictionary called E, and then I put curly brackets, and then I say Bob or something, and then I say 24, 25, and then I say like John, and then I put like 50, and then what we've done is we've assigned the string Bob, which could be a person's name, with the number 25, which could be their age, and also same with John. But we have an empty dictionary as D. So let's say you want to add something to the empty dictionary. All you need to do is type in D, square bracket, and then we can add something. So let's just add like Tom, and then close square bracket, is equal to, I don't know, 35. And then we can also do the same for something else. So let's say George, and then is equal to, I don't know, 10. And now if we want to retrieve some data from the dictionary, we can just type in print D square bracket George, and then close square bracket, close all the brackets, and we have 10. Since we set George as 10 in our dictionary, we can do this with any other thing. So we can also find the value of Tom here. We just do this, and then we get the value of Tom. And if we try printing something that doesn't actually exist yet, we can, so let's just put, I don't know, like John, and then we close the brackets. Then it will give us an error because John doesn't exist in the dictionary. So then let's say you want to change a value of somebody. So what you would have to do is you would just have to say D Tom is equal to, let's say 5. And now that just changes the value of Tom to 5. Now if we print D and then Tom, and then we close all the brackets, like this, we will get 5, which is our new value. Now let's say you want to iterate over all of the keys and values in the dictionary. So what you'll need to do is you'll need to say for key value in D dot items, close brackets, colon, and then you will need to say print, and then you can just make this look nice by saying value, and then printing the value, and then print, hold on, let's just actually make this key, and then print the key, and then let's make this value, and close this, and then print the value, and then we just print an empty string so that it will look nice like this. We will have the key, which is Tom, the value, which is 5, have an empty line, the key, which is George, and the value, which is 10. Now you don't just need to have strings as keys and numbers as values. You can even add, let's change something. So let's say D is D100 is equal to, I don't know, 10, and that would actually work perfectly fine. So now let's just run this for loop again. For value in D on items, brackets, print key, and then this, and then print the key, and then print the value there, then print the value, and then print an empty string. And now we can see that we have all of our values with Tom and George, and then we also have our key, which is 100, and our value, which is 10, and it works perfectly fine. Okay, so that was all for today's video about introduction to lists and dictionaries in Python. And just remember, if you are stuck with something or you are encountering a problem, Google is a savior. Okay, so Google is basically going to help you out a lot if you are a developer or if you're working on big programs. For me, it was very useful. If I get an error, I can type it into Google and then try and find a solution. Or if I want to know how to do something, I also, there are many solutions that people have put, and you can also use them. And yeah, that was all. And as always, thanks for watching.